Now, I'm curious because in your bio it mentions you have a dual degree in history and creative writing. So the genre doesn't always reflect it, but there is a strong historical record that families like Regina's, were in London and all of that. What was your approach? Did you do a lot of research into it, or did you kind of bring, imagination to it? And where does research fit into your creative process?
So what I tend to do is I sort of figure out the story that I want to tell. It's sort of like I have a hypothesis of what I would like to do, but now I need to go see if there's any data to back up exactly what I have in mind, or if I have to adjust something to match something else, right? So, like, for example, I was already well versed in the fact that England and England they'd had troops over there, right? So that one it wasn't hard to figure that part out. But then I was trying to figure out, like, what did I want the father to be? It's tricky. I don't, there's the danger of sort of falling into like the colonizer oppressor sort of situation. When you do research into those things, you do find, yeah, you had these marriages that came up, and some of them were because they fell in love. Some of them, the women were forced to convert. Some of them, it was just these Indian families that are trying to maintain their position while, England is slowly like swallowing up India and sort of dismantling the typical power structure that they had there. But I wanted to have a situation where it's like he's not opposed to the marriage itself, but he also knows his fellow men and he knows the circumstances. He's not going to be some kind of special unicorn, but he has to have some sort of kernel of just straight up respectability as a human to see if there's a way for those parents to work. And then for Regina, that is when it became okay. As an immigrant, for me, the main thing that I could really trade in and understand is the sort of otherness of an experience, right? And especially when you've been living in your new home for an extended period of time, sometimes you don't always have the luxury of going back as often as you want. And now a new disconnect form between the home that you left, but there's a disconnect that's still maintained in the place where you are, right?
Hmm.
So a lot of that ended up shaping like how I knew I wanted the story to go. And across the board, it's that that is something that I know I can write because it's like, you know, it's part of my life and it's sort of part of my family. That's
Yeah.
that feeling. So I try to always like sort of hammer that home and make sure that that is a theme that goes across all of it, but everybody reacts to it differently, right? Some
Yeah.
people are just like, absolutely not. I'm gonna do me and you'll get over it, right? And then other people are like, if you can't beat them, join them. And then I will take over from the inside, right? And then I will dismantle it from the beginning, right? So Regina's more of a dismantle from the inside kind of situation.